Hey guys, welcome to Info Byte. This is final part of George Washington biography. Here we will be discussing about biggest controversies of first president of United States of America. Let's start on exploration of George Washington's complex legacy. Often celebrated as the father of the nation, Washington's life was filled with controversies that shaped not only his presidency, but also the course of American history. Born in 1732 in the British colony of Virginia, Washington was destined for a life of significance. From his early days as a young plantation owner, his life was marked by a series of events that would ultimately lead him to become the first president of the United States. Yet his journey to the presidency was not without controversy. From his stance on slavery to his handling of the Jay Treaty and the Whiskey Rebellion, Washington's leadership was punctuated by pivotal moments of contention. These controversies, in turn, played a significant role in shaping the future of the nation. So, let's delve into these controversies chronologically to understand their impact on Washington's leadership and the nation. One of the most significant controversies surrounding Washington was his relationship with slavery. Despite being a proponent of liberty, Washington owned hundreds of enslaved individuals throughout his life. His Virginia plantation, Mount Vernon, was home to over 300 enslaved people at its peak. This fact alone paints a stark contrast between Washington's public persona as a champion of freedom and his private life as a slaveholder. Washington's stance on slavery was a complex one, marked by a deep-rooted moral dilemma. On one hand, he was a product of his time and place, a Virginia gentleman farmer who inherited his first enslaved individuals at the young age of 11. On the other hand, he was a revolutionary leader who espoused the ideals of liberty and equality. This internal struggle is evident in Washington's personal correspondence. In a letter to his close confidant Robert Morris in 1786, he wrote, "I can only say that there is not a man living who wishes more sincerely than I do to see a plan adopted for the abolition of it." Yet despite these expressed sentiments, Washington did not free his enslaved individuals during his lifetime. Many argue that Washington's reluctance to liberate his enslaved people was due to financial considerations. His plantation's economy relied heavily on their labor. However, this practicality does not fully explain his inaction. He was also deeply concerned about the societal upheaval that immediate emancipation might cause. In his will, Washington made a provision to free his enslaved people upon the death of his wife, Martha. This act, albeit posthumous, made him the only founding father to free his enslaved individuals through his will. This moral dilemma haunted Washington until his death, raising questions about the authenticity of his commitment to liberty. His legacy as a champion of freedom stands in stark contrast to his personal life as a slaveholder. This paradox serves as a reminder of the complexities and contradictions that marked the early years of the American Republic. In 1791, Washington faced a domestic crisis known as the Whiskey Rebellion. This uprising in western Pennsylvania erupted over the imposition of a federal tax on whiskey. The tax was part of a broader financial plan devised by Alexander Hamilton, the Secretary of the Treasury, to alleviate the national debt. However, the tax was not well received by the frontier distillers, who considered it a direct infringement on their economic livelihood. To put it in perspective, for these distillers, whiskey was not just a drink, but a medium of exchange, a source of income, and often a safety net in harsh economic times. The whiskey tax hit them where it hurt the most, and they responded with defiance, refusing to pay the tax and even resorting to violence against tax collectors. Washington, as the president, was faced with a critical test. The rebellion posed a direct challenge to the newly formed federal government and its ability to enforce its laws. It was a make-or-break moment, a time to assert the authority of the federal government or risk its dissolution. Washington's response was decisive. He led a militia of nearly 13,000 men, a force larger than any he had commanded during the Revolutionary War, to put down the rebellion. This was the first and only time a sitting U.S. president led troops into the field. It was a bold move, one that demonstrated the federal government's determination to enforce its laws and maintain order. The Whiskey Rebellion was effectively quelled with minimal violence. However, Washington's decision to use force against his own citizens was not without controversy. It sparked a heated debate about the extent of federal power, the rights of citizens, and the balance between public order and individual liberty. While quelling the rebellion restored order, it also fueled debates about the extent of federal power and the rights of citizens. The Whiskey Rebellion, therefore, stands as a testament to Washington's leadership and the complexities of governing a young nation. The Jay Treaty of 1795 ignited a firestorm of controversy during Washington's presidency. This treaty, negotiated with Great Britain, aimed to resolve lingering issues from the Revolutionary War. The treaty, named after the chief negotiator, John Jay, was a diplomatic maneuver designed to avert another war with Britain and ensure America's economic stability. However, the treaty was not received well by the public. Many felt it was a capitulation to British demands, a submission that favored British interests over American grievances. The treaty did little to address the issue of impressment, where American sailors were being forced into British naval service. It also failed to secure compensation for enslaved individuals taken by the British during the Revolutionary War. These perceived shortcomings sparked widespread protests and fierce debates in the press, led by the likes of Thomas Jefferson and James Madison. They argued that the treaty was a betrayal of American interests and a step backward to the days of colonial subjugation. But Washington, ever the pragmatist, saw things differently. He viewed the Jay Treaty as the lesser of two evils. He recognized that America, in its fledgling state, could ill afford another war with Britain. The country's economy was still recovering, and its military was not yet strong enough to take on the world's leading superpower. Washington also believed in the power of diplomacy over war. He felt that compromises were necessary in international relations, and that the Jay Treaty, flawed as it was, represented a step towards establishing America as a sovereign nation on the global stage. Despite intense opposition, Washington's steadfast support for the treaty secured its ratification. It was a decision that was both controversial and courageous. It highlighted Washington's commitment to diplomacy and his willingness to make difficult decisions for the sake of the nation. So while the Jay Treaty may have tarnished Washington's reputation in the eyes of some, it also underscored his strategic acumen and his unwavering dedication to the United States. It's a testament to the complexities and challenges he faced as the first president, navigating a new nation through the choppy waters of international politics. George Washington's controversies are a reminder of the complexities inherent in leadership. While celebrated as a founding father, Washington's legacy is also a testament to the challenges and contradictions of his time. In navigating these tumultuous waters, Washington's journey from a young plantation owner to the first president of the United States was anything but straightforward. His relationship with slavery, for instance, was a stark contradiction. Although a proponent of liberty, he owned hundreds of enslaved individuals throughout his life. His personal writings reveal a man wrestling with the moral discomfort of this institution, even as he perpetuated it. Then there was the Whiskey Rebellion, a domestic crisis that erupted over a federal tax on whiskey. Washington's decision to deploy federal troops to quell the rebellion demonstrated his unwavering commitment to uphold federal authority. Yet, this move sparked debates about the extent of federal power and the rights of citizens. The Jay Treaty of 1795, negotiated with Great Britain, was another controversy that marked Washington's presidency. Critics accused him of betraying American interests and favoring the former colonial power. Despite intense opposition, Washington's steadfast support for the treaty secured its ratification, underscoring his commitment to diplomacy. These controversies, and others less noted, shaped the course of Washington's presidency and, indeed, the trajectory of American history. They reveal a man who, despite his flaws and the contradictions of his time, strove to lead his country through uncharted waters. As we reflect on Washington's complex legacy, we are reminded of the nuances and layers that make up historical figures and events. It's a reminder that history isn't black and white, but a rich tapestry of grays. Join us next time as we continue to explore the multifaceted history of the United States. Until then, remember that understanding our past is key to shaping our future. Thanks for watching. Oh, who?